Okay, the first step is to write it in standard form. Okay, again, standard form is ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Okay, where a, b, and c are your coefficients for x squared x and your constant. Okay, once you write it in standard form, you're going to identify your a, b, and c values. You can either do that manually. You can actually write it down. So a is 4, b is -4, and c is -1. Or you can just find them, right? You don't necessarily need to write this step down. It can be more of a mental step. And then you're going to apply the quadratic formula. And again, the quadratic formula is x is equal to -b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So when we apply this, we get x is equal to negative a -4 plus or minus the square root of -4 squared minus 4 times a, which is 4, times c, which is -1, all over 2 times a, which was 4. Here, a negative and a negative cancel, giving us a positive. -4 squared is 16. Minus a minus becomes plus 16 all over 8. We continue to simplify what we have, root 32. Okay, and the square root of 32, it does have perfect square factors, 16 times 2. The square root of 16 comes out as a 4. Okay, now, when you get to this step, okay, you're not quite done. You need to reduce this fraction. And you have a couple different ways you can reduce it. Okay, one, you might need to use the steps that we talked about when we rewrite as the sum of terms. So one way that you might think of this is take each of the terms in the numerator and individually write them as fractions over that denominator and then reduce what you have. So we get 1 over 2 plus or minus root 2 over 2, which then combines back into 1 plus or minus root 2 over 2. Okay, or if you understand the concepts of canceling factors, when you have multiple terms in the numerator and you're trying to cancel a common factor, you have to find factors that go into all 3 of these parts. If there was another term plus or minus something else, the factor that you take out needs to be something that's common to all of those individual terms. So what factors are common between 4, 4, and 8? 4. 4 goes into 4 once, 4 goes into 4 once, 4 goes into 8 twice. Okay, and so that reduces down to 1 plus or minus root 2 over 2. Okay, whichever way you choose, just be consistent with it. But the most common mistake on this is to see something like this and then to incorrectly say 4 goes into 8 twice, and then this 2 goes into this 4 twice, and then to think you have plus or minus 2 root 2. Everybody see the mistakes I made on that? And you can't, this 4 and this 8, those aren't binomial, or those aren't both monomial factors. This 4 is a binomial. It's part of 4 plus or 4 minus 4 root 2. So they can't cancel unless you take it out of everything. So you can take a 4, and a 4 out. That's the only way that you can reduce that fraction.